when everything you hold onto holds you back. Imagine waking up one morning feeling the weight of the world pressing down on your shoulders. You grab your phone and scroll through social media, comparing your life to the carefully curated images of friends and influencers. You can't help but feel inadequate, as if something is always just out of reach. This is the reality for many of us living in today's fast-paced, interconnected world. The more we cling to external validation, material possessions, and rigid expectations, the more we suffer. Around 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus recognized this predicament. He observed that our sense of well-being is often at risk due to our attachments to things outside our control. According to him, people burden themselves by caring too much about the wrong things. His profound insight is not to stop caring altogether, but rather to focus on what truly matters and to let go of the rest. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy, understanding the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that some things are in our control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, while others, like the opinions of others, external events, and even our possessions, are not. When we invest our emotional energy in what we cannot control, we set ourselves up for disappointment and suffering. The good news is that we can reclaim our peace by consciously choosing where to direct our focus. In this video, we will explore 7 critical things you need to stop clinging to if you want to find true peace and contentment. Each lesson draws from the timeless wisdom of Epictetus and applies it to the challenges we face in the modern world. By learning to let go of these attachments, we can cultivate resilience and a more profound sense of inner tranquility. As we delve into these Stoic teachings, remember that this journey is not about detachment, but about a healthy relationship with the world around us. We will learn that it's possible to appreciate and enjoy the things we have while also understanding their temporary nature. You'll discover how to shift your mindset from one of clinging and anxiety to one of acceptance and freedom. Whether it's letting go of the need for control, the burden of others' opinions, or the fear of losing loved ones, each lesson will empower you to embrace life as it is. The wisdom we draw from Epictetus' works, particularly the Discourses and the Enchiridion, will guide us on this path to freedom. He reminds us that while we can't control external circumstances, we can always control our reactions to them. By focusing on what lies within our control, we can build a foundation of strength and resilience that protects us from the turmoil of life. Join me as we embark on this transformative journey. It's time to stop clinging to what doesn't serve us and start living a life of purpose, peace, and fulfillment. By the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to help you navigate the complexities of modern life with the wisdom of the ancients. Let's dive in and explore the 7 things you need to stop clinging to before they destroy your peace. 1. Stop clinging to control. It's an illusion anyway. In our fast-paced world, the illusion of control can feel both comforting and empowering. We often convince ourselves that if we can just manage our environment, our relationships, and even our future, we will find happiness. However, as the Stoic philosopher Epictetus teaches, this belief is fundamentally flawed and leads us to unnecessary suffering. Understanding the dichotomy of control is essential for achieving true peace and contentment in life. Epictetus famously stated in his Enchiridion, "Some things are in our control and others not." Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and, in one word, whatever is not our own actions. This simple yet profound insight serves as the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. When we focus our energy on what lies within our control, our thoughts, choices, and responses, we can cultivate a sense of strength and resilience. Consider the daily struggle many face when dealing with work stress. Imagine you are in a high-pressure job where deadlines loom and expectations from your boss and colleagues seem unrelenting. You might find yourself feeling anxious, overwhelmed, and desperate to maintain control over every outcome. However, the reality is that you cannot control how your colleagues perform or the decisions made by upper management. Instead of fixating on these external factors, Epictetus would encourage you to redirect your focus to what you can influence: your work ethic, your attitude, and your response to stress. By doing so, you reclaim power over your emotional state, reducing anxiety and fostering a more productive mindset. Another example can be found in our relationships. We often cling to the idea of controlling how others perceive us or how they behave. We might feel compelled to please friends, family, or partners, believing that if we can just be perfect in their eyes, we will be loved and accepted. However, as Epictetus reminds us, we cannot control other people's feelings or opinions. Instead, we must focus on being our authentic selves and accepting that others will respond to us based on their own perceptions and experiences. The freedom that comes from releasing this need for external validation is transformative. As Epictetus said, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. To illustrate this point further, consider a situation where a friend or partner criticizes you. The instinctive reaction might be to defend yourself or even to feel hurt. However, if we recognize that the criticism is a reflection of their opinion, something beyond our control, we can choose to respond with understanding rather than defensiveness. This allows us to maintain our inner peace, recognizing that their perspective does not define our worth. Now, let's explore the concept of control in the realm of personal goals and ambitions. Many people become obsessed with achieving specific outcomes, whether it's landing a dream job, achieving a particular weight, or reaching financial milestones. While it's natural to set goals, the danger lies in clinging too tightly to these outcomes. When we tie our happiness to specific results, we place our emotional well-being in the hands of external factors that we cannot fully influence. For instance, suppose you've been preparing for a job interview for weeks. You've researched the company, practiced your responses, and even tailored your resume. On the day of the interview, everything seems to be going well until an unexpected question throws you off balance. In that moment, the illusion of control shatters and anxiety creeps in. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, remember Epictetus' wisdom. Focus on what you can control: your preparation, your attitude, and how you choose to respond to the unexpected. This perspective shift not only alleviates the pressure but also fosters resilience. If you approach the interview as an opportunity to learn and grow rather than as a definitive measure of your worth, you free yourself from the burden of expectations. As Epictetus wisely noted, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. Moreover, let's consider the unpredictable nature of life itself. No matter how much we plan, things can change in an instant. Natural disasters, health issues, and other unforeseen events remind us of our vulnerability. Clinging to the illusion of control in such situations only leads to greater disappointment and frustration. Instead, practicing acceptance, an essential Stoic principle, enables us to navigate life's challenges with grace. Imagine you've planned a family vacation for months only to have it canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. The initial reaction may be anger and frustration, stemming from the desire to control the situation. However, by embracing the Stoic mindset, you can shift your focus from what has been lost to what you can still enjoy. Perhaps you can use the time to create new memories at home or explore local attractions. Rather than allowing disappointment to overshadow your experience, acceptance allows you to find joy in the unexpected. Epictetus teaches us that our well-being is ultimately determined by our perceptions and choices. The more we cling to the illusion of control, the more we expose ourselves to suffering. Conversely, when we embrace the reality of uncertainty and focus on our internal responses, we cultivate resilience, peace, and strength. In conclusion, the first step toward reclaiming your peace is to recognize the things you cannot control. By embracing the wisdom of Epictetus and understanding the dichotomy of control, you can free yourself from the burdens of anxiety and disappointment. Remember that your thoughts, actions, and reactions are within your grasp, while external circumstances are not. As you navigate the complexities of life, remind yourself to focus on what you can influence and let go of the rest. The freedom that comes from releasing the need for control is profound, allowing you to live with greater authenticity and joy. As we continue this journey through the remaining sections, keep this crucial lesson in mind. True strength lies not in control, but in acceptance and resilience. 2. Stop clinging to your possessions, they're not really yours. In our consumer-driven society, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that our possessions define us. We accumulate items, clothes, gadgets, cars, and homes thinking they bring us happiness and status. However, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus urges us to reconsider our attachment to material goods. He teaches that true joy does not come from what we own, but from how we perceive and relate to the world around us. The first step in cultivating a sense of peace is to recognize that everything we possess is temporary and ultimately outside our control. Epictetus famously said, "Never say of anything I have lost it, but I have returned it." This profound perspective encourages us to view our possessions as borrowed rather than owned. By reframing our mindset, we can alleviate the pain associated with loss and develop a healthier relationship with material goods. When we understand that nothing is permanent, we can appreciate what we have without the fear of losing it. Consider the example of a beloved family heirloom. It might hold sentimental value, representing treasured memories and connections to loved ones. However, treating it as if it were indestructible can lead to anxiety. What if it breaks or is lost? Instead, if we see it as something on loan from the universe, we can enjoy it while it lasts, recognizing that its value lies not in its physical existence but in the love and memories it represents. This shift in perspective can significantly reduce the pain associated with loss. The Stoic concept of viewing belongings as borrowed extends to our relationships as well. We often cling to loved ones, fearing their absence or loss. This fear can lead to unhealthy attachments that cause anxiety and distress. By understanding that our relationships are also temporary, we can love more freely without the chains of possessiveness. As Epictetus advises, treat life as a dinner party. When something is offered to you, take it with moderation. If it passes by, do not stop it. This metaphor beautifully illustrates how to navigate our relationships and possessions with grace. Imagine a scenario where a close friend moves away. Instead of being consumed by sadness and the fear of losing that connection, we can cherish the time we had together while releasing the need to control their presence in our lives. This acceptance allows us to appreciate the bond without the weight of possessiveness. We can choose to stay in touch, create new memories, and even celebrate their new journey. The key is to enjoy the moment without clinging to it as if it were permanent. Additionally, the allure of material possessions can lead us to forget the true essence of happiness. We often equate our self-worth with our belongings. The latest smartphone, designer clothes, or a luxury car may provide temporary satisfaction, but they do not fulfill our deeper needs for connection, purpose, and belonging. As Epictetus wisely pointed out, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. By recognizing that our happiness does not depend on our possessions, we can free ourselves from the relentless pursuit of more. Instead of seeking fulfillment through accumulation, we can focus on cultivating gratitude for what we already have. This practice shifts our mindset from scarcity to abundance, allowing us to find joy in the simple pleasures of life. Consider a practical exercise to help you adopt this Stoic perspective. Take a weekend to declutter your living space. As you sort through your belongings, ask yourself, does this item add value to my life? Am I attached to it because of its material worth or the memories it holds? This process can reveal the items you've been clinging to out of habit rather than genuine appreciation. After decluttering, consider donating or selling items that no longer serve you. This act of letting go can be liberating and create space for new experiences and relationships. It reinforces the idea that we don't need to hold onto everything. By allowing others to benefit from what we no longer need, we contribute to a cycle of abundance and generosity. Furthermore, the concept of impermanence is central to Stoic philosophy. Everything we own can be taken away at any moment, whether through misfortune, natural disasters, or the passage of time. By accepting this reality, we can cultivate resilience and adaptability. Instead of fearing loss, we learn to appreciate the fleeting nature of life. As Epictetus reminds us, if you want to be rich, do not add to your money, but subtract from your desire. The practice of seeing our possessions as temporary can also extend beyond physical belongings to our dreams and ambitions. We often cling tightly to our goals, interpreting setbacks as failures. However, Stoicism teaches us that the journey is just as important as the destination. When we focus solely on achieving specific outcomes, we risk losing sight of the lessons and growth that occur along the way. For instance, if you're pursuing a career change and face rejection, it's easy to feel disheartened. Instead of clinging to the idea of securing that one job, recognize that each experience can provide valuable insights and opportunities for growth. As Epictetus said, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. By reframing our mindset, we can find strength in adversity and embrace the process. Additionally, the idea of borrowing extends to our aspirations as well. We can pursue our dreams with passion while remaining open to the possibility that things may not unfold as we envision. This flexibility allows us to adapt and grow rather than becoming trapped in rigid expectations. As we navigate life, let us remember the words of Epictetus. What is it that you want? To be rich, to be powerful, to be famous? What is it that you want to possess? Do not be deceived by the appearance of things. By discerning what truly matters, we can cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment and inner peace. In summary, the Stoic practice of letting go of our possessions is a powerful tool for achieving tranquility. By recognizing that everything we own is temporary and that our happiness is not tied to material goods, we can cultivate a sense of freedom and contentment. As you reflect on your relationship with possessions, embrace the idea that they are borrowed and not owned. Allow yourself to love and appreciate freely without the chains of possessiveness. Remember that true joy comes from within, and by focusing on what truly matters in life, you can find peace amidst the chaos. With this understanding, you'll be better equipped to navigate the complexities of modern life, releasing the grip of materialism and embracing the beauty of simplicity. As we continue our journey through the remaining sections, keep in mind the importance of cultivating a healthy relationship with the world around you, one that fosters joy and acceptance rather than clinging and anxiety. 3. Stop clinging to others' opinions. They're none of your business. In our modern world, the pressure to conform and seek approval from others has never been greater. Whether it's through social media, workplace dynamics, or personal relationships, we often find ourselves overly concerned with what others think of us. This dependency on external validation can lead to anxiety, self-doubt, and a lack of authenticity. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus offers profound wisdom in this regard, teaching us that our self-worth should not be tied to the opinions of others. To find true peace, we must learn to stop clinging to those opinions and embrace our individuality. Epictetus famously stated, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote encapsulates the essence of Stoic philosophy. While we cannot control how others perceive us, we have complete control over our reactions and beliefs about their perceptions. When we allow ourselves to be swayed by others' opinions, we relinquish our inner strength. The key is to cultivate a sense of self that is resilient and independent. Imagine this scenario. You've just given a presentation at work, hoping to impress your team and superiors. After finishing, you overhear a colleague making a negative comment about your performance. Instantly, a wave of self-doubt washes over you. You may begin to question your abilities and wonder if you're as competent as you thought. This reaction illustrates how easily we can be influenced by others' opinions, especially when we tie our self-esteem to their feedback. Instead of succumbing to this external pressure, consider reframing your perspective. Recognize that your colleague's opinion is just that, an opinion. It is not an objective truth about your abilities or worth. Focus on the positive feedback you received or the lessons learned from the experience. By doing so, you reclaim your power and reinforce the idea that your self-worth is not contingent upon the approval of others. In social situations, the desire to be liked can lead us to compromise our values and authenticity. We may find ourselves agreeing with opinions we don't truly support or modifying our behavior to fit in. This behavior is not only exhausting but detrimental to our sense of self. Epictetus encourages us to prioritize our inner peace over the fleeting approval of others. He reminds us, if you want to be liked, you must first be true to yourself. Consider a situation where you're at a gathering with friends who have differing values or interests. You may feel pressured to conform to their expectations, suppressing your true opinions or interests to fit in. However, this strategy often backfires, leading to resentment and disconnection. Instead, embrace your individuality. Share your thoughts honestly, even if they differ from those of the group. By doing so, you attract people who appreciate you for who you are, rather than for a facade you've created to seek approval. The impact of social media cannot be overlooked in this discussion. Platforms like Instagram and Facebook create a constant stream of feedback, making it easy to become obsessed with likes and comments. We may find ourselves checking our notifications repeatedly, measuring our self-worth by the number of likes on a post. Epictetus would encourage us to step back and evaluate the impact of this behavior on our mental well-being. Rather than seeking validation online, focus on cultivating meaningful connections offline. Engage in conversations that nourish your spirit, and surround yourself with people who uplift you rather than those who base their approval on superficial metrics. Remember that the opinions of strangers on the internet do not define your worth or value. Moreover, when we cling to the opinions of others, we often forget the importance of self-compassion. Stoicism teaches us to be kind to ourselves, recognizing that we are all imperfect beings navigating a complex world. Instead of being overly critical of ourselves based on others' judgments, we should practice self-acceptance. As Epictetus noted, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This mastery begins with understanding that our value is inherent and does not depend on external validation. Take time to reflect on your strengths, accomplishments, and the unique qualities that make you who you are. Celebrate your individuality and embrace the idea that your self-worth is not contingent upon others' opinions. In professional settings, it's common to seek validation from superiors or peers. However, This dependence can lead to a toxic work environment and hinder personal growth. Instead of waiting for approval, focus on honing your skills and striving for excellence. When you prioritize your personal development over external validation, you cultivate a sense of purpose and fulfillment that is truly empowering. Consider the example of an aspiring musician who constantly seeks validation from friends and social media followers. If their music receives criticism, they may feel disheartened and doubt their talent. However, if they shift their focus from seeking approval to creating music that resonates with them personally, they can find joy and fulfillment in the process. By doing so, they reclaim their creative power and free themselves from the burden of others' opinions. Epictetus also teaches us the value of resilience in facing criticism. Rather than allowing negative feedback to define us, we can choose to respond with grace and humility. When someone criticizes us, it's essential to assess whether their opinion holds any merit. If it does, we can learn and grow from it. If not, we can simply let it go, recognizing that their viewpoint is not a reflection of our worth. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us remember that not everyone will appreciate us, and that's okay. Epictetus encourages us to be content with who we are, regardless of external opinions. The greatest wealth is to live content with little, he said, reinforcing the idea that our inner peace is far more valuable than the fleeting approval of others. When we learn to detach our self-worth from the opinions of others, we free ourselves from the anxiety that comes with seeking validation. This journey requires practice and self-awareness. Start by identifying situations where you feel overly concerned about how others perceive you. Challenge these thoughts by reminding yourself that their opinions do not define your value. Incorporate daily practices to reinforce this mindset. Each morning, take a moment to reflect on your goals and affirm your self-worth. Remind yourself that you are enough as you are, independent of others' judgments. As you cultivate this internal strength, you will find that external opinions hold less power over you. As you learn to release the need for approval, you will also discover a newfound sense of freedom. You will be able to express yourself authentically, engage in meaningful relationships, and make choices that align with your true values. Embracing this Stoic perspective will not only enhance your personal well-being, but will also inspire those around you to do the same. By practicing this detachment from others' opinions, you will cultivate a life of authenticity, resilience, and inner peace. This journey is not always easy, but it is profoundly rewarding. As we continue to explore the remaining sections, keep in mind the importance of embracing your true self and letting go of the need for approval. The path to self-discovery and freedom begins with recognizing that your worth is inherent and independent of the opinions of others. As you move forward, remember that true strength lies in your ability to remain true to yourself, regardless of external validation. 4. Stop clinging to people you love them without chains. Imagine a scenario where you're sitting in a busy cafe in New York City, surrounded by friends. Laughter and conversation fill the air, yet you can't shake the nagging feeling of anxiety about the potential loss of these relationships. You might think, what if they move away? What if they no longer want to be friends? This fear of losing connections can lead us to cling tightly to those we love, creating unhealthy attachments that ultimately cause us more pain than joy. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus offers valuable insights into how we can navigate our relationships with greater ease and freedom. Epictetus teaches us that while it is natural to love and care for others, we must avoid the trap of possessiveness. He famously remarked, "Never say of anything, 'I have lost it, but I have returned it.'" This perspective shifts our mindset from ownership to appreciation. When we view our relationships as temporary, recognizing that people come into our lives for a time and may leave, we can love more freely without the suffocating weight of expectation. Let's explore what this looks like in practice. Consider your relationship with a close friend. You cherish the time spent together, but you might also find yourself worrying about losing that connection. Instead of holding on tightly, try to appreciate each moment you share. When you shift your focus from fearing loss to celebrating the present, you cultivate a more joyful and meaningful connection. This doesn't mean you won't feel sadness if the relationship changes, but it allows you to enjoy it fully while it lasts. Additionally, the fear of losing loved ones can lead to anxiety and stress. We often cling to the idea that we must control how relationships unfold, fearing abandonment or separation. This possessiveness can create friction and resentment. Instead, practice accepting the impermanence of relationships. Recognize that everyone has their own journey, and while you can offer love and support, you cannot dictate their paths. Epictetus reminds us, if you want to be rich, do not add to your money, but subtract from your desire. In this case, seeking less control and desire over others can lead to greater peace. Imagine a situation where a family member decides to relocate for a job opportunity. Instead of feeling devastated by the thought of losing them, embrace their decision as a chance for growth and adventure. Celebrate their new opportunity and stay connected, perhaps through regular calls or visits. This approach allows you to maintain the love and connection without the burden of possessiveness. Moreover, the idea of viewing loved ones as borrowed rather than owned can help alleviate the pain associated with loss. When we recognize that our time with others is temporary, we can engage with them more fully. We can appreciate the moments shared, knowing that they are a gift. As Epictetus stated, treat life as a dinner party. When something is offered to you, take it with moderation. If it passes by, do not stop it. This metaphor encourages us to enjoy relationships without clinging to them as if they are permanent fixtures in our lives. In romantic relationships, this philosophy can be especially powerful. Often, we cling to partners with the fear of losing them, leading to possessiveness and jealousy. Instead, consider approaching love with an open heart, free from the chains of expectation. Love should empower both partners, allowing each to grow individually while supporting one another. When both individuals feel free to explore their paths, the relationship can flourish without the weight of fear. For example, suppose you're in a committed relationship, but your partner expresses a desire to pursue a new career in another city. The instinctive reaction might be to feel threatened or insecure about the future of the relationship. Instead of clinging to the fear of separation, support their decision. Embrace the idea that love is not about possession but about mutual growth. This perspective fosters trust and strengthens the bond between you regardless of the physical distance. Additionally, the Stoic practice of gratitude can enhance our relationships. Instead of focusing on what we might lose, we can cultivate appreciation for what we currently have. Take a moment each day to reflect on the qualities you cherish in your loved ones. Express your gratitude openly, whether through words, notes, or small gestures. This practice not only strengthens your relationships but also shifts your focus from fear to appreciation. Epictetus also teaches us the importance of emotional resilience. When we experience loss or separation, it's natural to feel pain. However, rather than clinging to that pain, we can choose to process our emotions constructively. Allow yourself to grieve, but recognize that the love shared will always remain a part of your experience. As Epictetus wisely noted, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. By reframing our thoughts during times of loss, we can find healing and acceptance. Moreover, nurturing a sense of community can help mitigate the fear of losing individual relationships. Instead of relying solely on one or two people for emotional support, cultivate a broader network of connections. Engage with different friends, family members, and colleagues. This diverse support system reminds us that while some relationships may change, there are always others to turn to for love and encouragement. As we reflect on the teachings of Epictetus, it's clear that love should be liberating, not confining. By letting go of the need to possess or control those we care about, we open ourselves to deeper, more meaningful connections. This approach not only enhances our relationships but also cultivates our inner strength and resilience. Therefore, as you navigate the complexities of love and attachment, practice the Stoic principle of viewing relationships as temporary gifts. Appreciate the moments you share and recognize that true love allows for freedom and growth. Embrace the idea that while people may come and go, the love you experience will always be a part of who you are. In the journey of life, remember that clinging to loved ones can lead to pain and anxiety. Instead, love freely, support one another's journeys, and cultivate gratitude for the time spent together. This mindset shift will not only enhance your relationships but also lead to a more fulfilling and peaceful life. 5. Stop clinging to success and power. They're using you. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, the relentless pursuit of success and power can feel like a badge of honor. We often equate our self-worth with our achievements, believing that climbing the corporate ladder or accumulating wealth will bring us happiness. However, this mindset can lead to disillusionment and stress. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus warns us against this dangerous attachment to success, reminding us that true fulfillment lies not in external accolades but in our character and actions. Epictetus famously stated, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This powerful insight encourages us to reevaluate our definitions of success. In a world that constantly bombards us with messages about what it means to be successful, whether it's owning a big house, driving an expensive car, or holding a prestigious job, we can easily lose sight of what truly matters. The pursuit of external validation often leads to anxiety and a sense of inadequacy, especially when we tie our happiness to achievements that can be fleeting. Imagine a young professional in Chicago who works tirelessly to climb the ranks at a prestigious firm. They put in long hours, sacrificing time with friends and family in pursuit of that next promotion. However, when the promotion finally arrives, the excitement is short-lived. Instead of feeling fulfilled, they realize that the pressures of the new role come with greater expectations and responsibilities. This scenario illustrates the cycle of seeking external validation only to find that it does not lead to lasting happiness. Instead of clinging to the idea of success as defined by society, we can shift our focus to cultivating personal growth and virtue. Stoicism teaches us that our character and the choices we make are far more important than any title or position. As Epictetus wisely advised, it is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. By changing our perspective, we can redefine success in a way that aligns with our values and principles. Consider the story of a successful entrepreneur who starts a thriving business. Initially driven by the desire for wealth and recognition, they soon realize that their true passion lies in helping others. Rather than focusing solely on profits, they shift their approach to prioritize the impact of their work on their community and employees. This shift brings them a sense of fulfillment that goes beyond monetary success. By letting go of the narrow definition of success, they find purpose and joy in their work. The pursuit of power can also lead to unhealthy attachments. Many believe that gaining power over others will bring them respect and control. However, this desire for power often creates a toxic environment that breeds resentment and conflict. Epictetus cautions against the insatiable hunger for power, stating, "The man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it is committing another mistake." Recognizing and addressing our motivations can help us break free from this cycle. Imagine a manager who micromanages their team, believing that their control will lead to better results. However, this approach stifles creativity and morale, ultimately harming productivity. Instead, by empowering their team and trusting their abilities, the manager fosters a collaborative environment where everyone can thrive. This shift requires letting go of the need for control and embracing a more supportive leadership style. Furthermore, the concept of power is often tied to our identities. We may associate our worth with our job titles or the influence we hold in our social circles. When we cling to these identities, we risk losing sight of who we are beyond our roles. Stoicism teaches us that our true value comes from our character, not our status. As Epictetus noted, any man can make mistakes, but only an idiot persists in his error. Acknowledging our mistakes and focusing on our integrity allows us to cultivate genuine self-worth. A practical exercise to help shift your mindset from clinging to success and power is to reflect on your values and what truly matters to you. Take time to write down your core beliefs and the principles you want to embody in your life. Ask yourself, what does success mean to me, and how can I align my actions with my values? This self-reflection can help clarify your goals and redirect your focus toward meaningful pursuits. Additionally, practice gratitude for what you have rather than fixating on what you lack. Instead of comparing yourself to others, celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, and recognize the progress you've made. This practice of gratitude can shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance, allowing you to appreciate the journey rather than constantly chasing after the next goal. As you navigate your career and personal life, remember the importance of balance. While pursuing goals is essential, it's equally important to maintain your well-being and connections with others. Set boundaries to protect your time and energy, ensuring that your pursuit of success does not come at the expense of your relationships or mental health. Epictetus encourages us to focus on what is within our control. We cannot control how others perceive our success or the outcomes of our efforts, but we can control our actions and our responses. By embracing the Stoic principle, we can cultivate resilience and find peace in the face of uncertainty. Ultimately, let go of the need to cling to success and power as measures of your worth. Instead, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, guided by your values and principles. Embrace the journey of personal growth and remember that true fulfillment stems from within, not from external validation. As we continue our exploration of Stoic wisdom, keep in mind the significance of redefining success and power in a way that aligns with your true self. The path to genuine fulfillment lies in cultivating character, integrity, and resilience, allowing you to thrive in a world that often promotes superficial measures of worth. 6. Stop clinging to being right. Your ego is lying to you. In a world filled with differing opinions and competing ideologies, the urge to be right can be overwhelming. Whether it's in a heated discussion with friends, a workplace debate, or even an online argument, the desire to prove our point often takes precedence over meaningful communication. This attachment to being right not only strains relationships but also distracts us from the essence of Stoic philosophy, seeking truth and understanding. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus teaches that our commitment to being right can blind us to wisdom and growth, ultimately leading to frustration and conflict. Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This quote highlights the danger of clinging to our opinions with unwavering certainty. When we prioritize our need to be right, we close ourselves off to new ideas and perspectives. This rigidity can prevent us from learning and evolving as individuals. Imagine a scenario where a group of friends is discussing a controversial topic, such as politics or social issues. One friend passionately argues their viewpoint, unwilling to consider the perspectives of others. As the conversation escalates, tensions rise, and what could have been a constructive dialogue devolves into a battle of egos. Instead of listening and engaging with differing opinions, each person becomes entrenched in their stance, further entrenching their beliefs. This pattern is all too common in our discussions today. Instead of clinging to the need to be right, consider adopting a mindset of curiosity. Approach conversations with the intention to understand rather than to win. Ask open-ended questions that prompt deeper discussions. For example, instead of insisting on your viewpoint, try saying, "I'd love to hear more about your perspective on this." This approach fosters a spirit of collaboration and understanding, allowing for growth and connection. The Stoic practice of intellectual humility is essential in this context. Recognizing that we don't have all the answers opens us to the possibility of learning from others. Epictetus reminds us, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say." By taking the time to listen actively, we demonstrate respect for others' viewpoints and create a space for constructive dialogue. In professional settings, the desire to be right can create a toxic work environment. Imagine a team meeting where one member insists on their method without considering alternative approaches. This attitude not only stifles creativity, but can also alienate team members who feel their ideas are undervalued. Instead, embracing a collaborative mindset can lead to innovative solutions. Encourage open discussions where all voices are heard, and the focus shifts from being right to achieving the best outcome for the team. Furthermore, when we cling to being right, we often overlook the emotional impact of our words. In heated discussions, it's easy to forget that our opinions can affect others deeply. Practicing empathy allows us to connect with others on a human level, fostering understanding and compassion. Epictetus teaches us, "When someone provokes you, be assured that it is your own opinion that provokes you." By recognizing that our reactions stem from our perceptions, we can choose to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. Consider a situation where a colleague criticizes your work. Your instinct may be to defend yourself aggressively, clinging to your viewpoint. However, if you take a step back and recognize that their criticism reflects their perspective, you can choose to respond with curiosity. Ask for specific feedback and be open to constructive criticism. This shift not only enhances your professional growth, but also strengthens relationships with colleagues, creating a culture of collaboration rather than competition. Additionally, we must recognize the limitations of our knowledge. No one is infallible, and our understanding of complex issues is often shaped by our experiences and biases. Embracing this reality allows us to engage in discussions with humility and openness. As Epictetus said, "The key is to keep a straight mind. All else will follow." When we prioritize clarity of thought over being right, we open ourselves to growth and understanding. A practical way to practice letting go of the need to be right is to reflect on your conversations and interactions. After a debate or discussion, take a moment to assess your mindset. Did you approach the conversation with the intent to learn, or were you focused solely on proving your point? Consider how you can shift your approach in future discussions. Another useful exercise is to seek out differing viewpoints intentionally. Engage with people who have perspectives that challenge your own. This practice not only broadens your understanding, but also helps you develop resilience in the face of disagreement. By exposing yourself to diverse opinions, you cultivate a more nuanced understanding of complex issues and learn to navigate conversations with grace. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us remember that the pursuit of being right can hinder our personal growth. Instead of clinging to our opinions, we should strive for understanding and collaboration. Embracing humility allows us to engage with others meaningfully, fostering deeper connections and mutual respect. In the spirit of Stoicism, recognize that true wisdom lies not in proving ourselves right, but in seeking the truth and understanding the world around us. By letting go of the need to be right, we free ourselves from the burdens of ego and open the door to growth. As you continue your journey through life, remember the teachings of Epictetus. Approach conversations with curiosity, practice intellectual humility, and prioritize understanding over winning. By doing so, you'll cultivate a more fulfilling and peaceful existence, allowing you to connect with others authentically and meaningfully. 7. Stop clinging to perfect outcomes. Life isn't your script. In the quest for success and happiness, many of us fall into the trap of wanting everything to go according to plan. We meticulously map out our goals, envisioning every detail and expecting life to unfold as we desire. However, this desire for perfection can lead to frustration and disappointment, especially when reality doesn't align with our expectations. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus teaches us that clinging to perfect outcomes is a recipe for suffering. Instead, we should focus on accepting life as it is and finding peace in the unpredictable nature of existence. Epictetus wisely stated, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." This powerful principle encourages us to relinquish our desire for control over every aspect of our lives. When we cling to rigid expectations, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Life is inherently unpredictable, and the more we try to control the outcomes, the more we suffer. Imagine planning a significant event, such as a wedding or a major presentation at work. You envision every detail, the venue, the guest list, the speeches. However, despite your best efforts, unforeseen circumstances arise: bad weather, a last-minute cancellation, or technical difficulties. If you cling to the idea of a perfect event, you may find yourself overwhelmed with frustration and disappointment. Instead, if you adopt a Stoic mindset, you can embrace the unexpected and adapt to the situation at hand. For example, suppose it starts to rain on your wedding day. Instead of letting it ruin your celebration, you can choose to focus on the joy of being surrounded by loved ones. Embrace the moment, knowing that the memories created are what truly matter, not the perfection of the setting. This shift in perspective allows you to find happiness despite the circumstances. In a professional context, the pressure to achieve specific outcomes can be even more pronounced. Consider an employee who is vying for a promotion. They may become fixated on the idea of being promoted within a certain time frame, believing that success hinges on this single achievement. When the promotion doesn't happen as expected, they may feel disheartened and question their worth. However, if they focus on doing their best work and learning from the experience, they can grow both personally and professionally, regardless of the outcome. Epictetus teaches that our true power lies in our ability to control our responses to situations, not in trying to dictate the events themselves. This mindset shift can lead to greater resilience and adaptability. Instead of being devastated by setbacks, we can learn to view them as opportunities for growth and learning. When facing challenges, ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? This question can help you reframe your perspective and find value in the experience regardless of the outcome. For instance, if you don't achieve a goal you set for yourself, rather than dwelling on the disappointment, consider what insights you gained along the way. Reflect on the skills you developed, the connections you made, and how you can apply these lessons in the future. Additionally, the Stoic practice of amor fati, or love of fate, encourages us to embrace life's challenges and uncertainties. Instead of resisting what happens, we can learn to accept it and find beauty in the journey. As Epictetus noted, it is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. By changing our opinions about life's unpredictability, we can cultivate a sense of peace and acceptance. Imagine a scenario where you face a significant setback, such as losing a job or experiencing a breakup. The initial response may be to feel devastated, clinging to the idea of how life should have gone. However, by embracing amor fati, you can acknowledge the pain but also recognize the potential for new opportunities. This acceptance allows you to move forward with an open heart and mind, ready to explore new paths. A practical way to practice letting go of the need for perfect outcomes is to set intentions rather than rigid expectations. Instead of declaring that you must achieve a specific result, focus on your intentions and actions. For example, if you're preparing for a job interview, set the intention to present your best self and to learn from the experience, regardless of the outcome. This approach frees you from the pressure of needing to be perfect and allows you to engage authentically. Furthermore, remind yourself that success is not a straight line. Life is filled with twists and turns, and the journey is often more valuable than the destination. Embrace the idea that setbacks and detours are part of the process. By doing so, you cultivate resilience and the ability to adapt in the face of challenges. As you navigate your path, practice mindfulness to help you stay grounded in the present moment. When you find yourself clinging to an ideal outcome, take a step back and breathe. Ground yourself in the here and now, reminding yourself that you have the power to choose how you respond to whatever life throws your way. In summary, clinging to perfect outcomes can lead to disappointment and frustration. By embracing the teachings of Epictetus, we can learn to let go of rigid expectations and cultivate a mindset of acceptance. Recognize that life is inherently unpredictable and focus on your responses to situations rather than trying to control every outcome. As you move forward, practice loving your fate and embracing the journey. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way and remember that true fulfillment comes from within, not from external validation. By letting go of the need for perfection, you open yourself to a life filled with growth, resilience, and peace. As we wrap up our exploration of Stoic philosophy and the essential practice of letting go, it's important to reflect on the profound insights we've gained. We've learned that clinging to control, possessions, the opinions of others, relationships, success, and perfect outcomes can lead to unnecessary suffering and anxiety. By embracing the teachings of Epictetus and practicing acceptance, we can cultivate a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Letting go is not about detachment or indifference. It's about recognizing the temporary nature of all things and choosing to focus on what truly matters. When we stop clinging to what is outside our control, we free ourselves to live authentically and fully. Imagine the relief of releasing the weight of expectations and judgments, allowing you to embrace life's uncertainties with open arms. As you navigate your own journey, remember that the path to inner peace is a continuous practice. It requires mindfulness, self-reflection, and a commitment to prioritize your well-being over external validations. Each time you feel the urge to cling, whether to a person, an opinion, or an outcome, take a moment to pause and remind yourself of the wisdom of Stoicism. Ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? Shift your focus to your thoughts, actions, and responses and let go of the burden of trying to dictate the world around you. Incorporate daily practices that reinforce this mindset. Start each day with a moment of gratitude, acknowledging the people and experiences in your life that bring you joy. Reflect on what you can do today to live in alignment with your values, regardless of external pressures. This approach fosters resilience and helps you cultivate a sense of fulfillment that is rooted in your character, not your possessions or the approval of others. As we conclude this journey, I invite you to take action. Subscribe to the Stoic Viva channel for more insights into Stoic philosophy and practical guidance on living a meaningful life. If you found value in this content, please like and share it with others who may benefit from these teachings. Together, we can spread the wisdom of Stoicism and inspire more individuals to embrace the freedom that comes from letting go. Remember, the journey toward inner peace is not a solitary one. By sharing these insights and engaging in meaningful discussions, we can support one another in our quests for understanding and growth. Let us create a community where we uplift each other, free from the chains of judgment and expectation. As you move forward, carry the teachings of Stoicism with you. Let go of what does not serve you, embrace life as it unfolds, and cultivate a spirit of acceptance. The path to true fulfillment lies within you, waiting to be discovered. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I look forward to exploring more Stoic wisdom together.